Everyone is talking about what AI can create. We see it everywhere: images, code, even entire movies. But the biggest story, it's not what AI is building, it's the silent, high stakes war it has just kicked off. And this has created a frankly terrifying new reality, and with it, a massive spending category that is absolutely non negotiable. The next global conflict? Yeah, it won't be fought with missiles. It's going to be fought with AI models.
Okay, so let's really dive into this. To get what's happening, we need to use what the legends Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger called second-level thinking. It's not about seeing the obvious stuff right in front of you. It's about asking the single most important question in investing, and really in life. And then what? See, the first-level thinker sees the AI boom and just buys the obvious stocks. The second-level thinker steps back and asks, okay, what are the consequences of that boom? What happens next? And believe me, that first-level consequence is absolutely massive. We are talking about an estimated $3 trillion in global spending just for data center construction through 2028. This is the physical build-out, the raw industrialization of artificial intelligence. I mean, think of it like the Transcontinental Railroad or the entire interstate highway system being built all at once. It is an unprecedented capital splurge.
So, this is the AI gold rush. Everyone sees it, right? The money is just flooding into the companies building the picks and shovels for this revolution. The chip makers, the cloud providers, the power companies. But in this explainer, we're going to look past all that. We are going to apply that second-level thinking to uncover the really dramatic story that's unfolding just beneath the surface. Because while all the headlines are focused on the gold, the real story is brewing in the shadows.
This first wave of investment, it's incredibly concentrated. I mean, the market is betting huge on just a handful of players. We're seeing 10 companies, almost all tied directly to AI, making up a staggering 40% of the S&P 500. And if you zoom in on the hardware, it gets even more extreme. Just 2 companies are buying nearly 40% of NVIDIA's world-changing chips. It is a massive but very, very narrow bet.
But remember, all of that's just first-level thinking. Building the infrastructure, concentrating the capital, that's the obvious part. So we have to ask that question again. A $3 trillion build-out happens. Every company on the planet adopts AI. And then what? What happens when this incredible new intelligence is unleashed everywhere?
Well, the answer to "and then what?" It wasn't what anyone expected, and it arrived in April 2026. It wasn't some press release about a faster chip or a better chatbot. No. This was a fundamental, paradigm-shifting event that completely changed the risk calculus for the entire global economy. This is the big turn in our story, and it's called the Mythos Capability Shift.
This wasn't just another small improvement. A totally new kind of AI was released into the world. It came from the AI safety and research company Anthropic, one of OpenAI's biggest competitors. They released a new model that had what's called an emergent capability, something it learned to do that it wasn't explicitly trained for. And this new skill, well, it was both brilliant and incredibly dangerous.
So what was this new capability? It's called automated exploit generation. Just let that sink in for a second. We are talking about an AI that can look at a piece of software, find a security hole that no human has ever found, and then write the code to exploit that hole, all by itself. This isn't just, running through a database of known problems. No, this is an autonomous vulnerability researcher. It is an AI hacker. And this wasn't some theory. The model, which they named Claude Mythos, proved it could do it. They tasked it with analyzing some of the most battle-hardened secure code in the world, code that's been attacked by security researchers for decades. And Mythos found brand new critical vulnerabilities. It even showed it could get full kernel access. That is the highest level of control you can have over a computer, the absolute keys to the entire digital kingdom, just by exploiting a flaw on a regular web page. This was a cybersecurity Oppenheimer moment. No question. The fallout was immediate, and it was global. The revelation of Claude Mythos didn't just create a new threat, it triggered a full-blown defensive arms race. All of the world's technology leaders suddenly realized they were in a brand new era of cyber warfare, and they were completely, totally unprepared. The response was a project of unprecedented scale and urgency.
You have to understand, this wasn't about a single app or one company's servers. The vulnerabilities Mythos could find were in the foundational code that the entire global economy is built on. Operating systems, networking protocols, the fundamental stuff. The whole core tech stack was suddenly considered vulnerable. The assumptions that had underpinned digital security for 40 years were, in an instant, obsolete. So,
In response, the tech industry formed an emergency coalition, Project Glasswing. You can think of it like a digital NATO. 12 of the biggest tech giants on the planet. I'm talking Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Apple, the very companies who build and maintain that core tech stack, they all banded together. Their sole focus? To use this new AI capability defensively, to use Mythos-class models to find the vulnerabilities in their own systems and patch them before the bad guys could do the same. And just like that, a brand new, non-discretionary spending category was born overnight. This wasn't a nice-to-have anymore. It was about survival. And the alarm bells weren't just ringing in the boardrooms of Silicon Valley. Oh no, they were ringing everywhere. A survey of security leaders came out and showed that 96% now view AI-enabled cyber attacks as a significant threat to their organizations. The awareness of this new reality is practically universal.
And that awareness, it's immediately translating into budget. Almost half of all organizations, 48%, now plan to dedicate a quarter of their entire security budgets specifically to AI-powered defense solutions. The money is moving, and it is moving fast. This isn't some forecast for a distant future. This is panicked reactive spending that is happening right now. So this brings us to the crucial point here, a massive disconnect in the market. While most of the investment capital is still chasing AI offense, the generative models, the content creation, the most urgent non-negotiable spending is now happening in AI defense. This is the blind spot. And it's where the real battle is being fought by cybersecurity titans like CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks. For the last couple of years, the AI investment story has really been about two things. You had the obvious plays, NVIDIA, the big AI labs, the Magnificent Seven, and then you had the slightly more sophisticated picks and shovels story, the hidden infrastructure like power grids and cooling systems. These are the known stories. The market gets it. But the real AI arms race is not where most people are looking. The crowded play, the offense, is all about generation, building bigger models. But the non-obvious, and now far more critical play, is defense. We're talking automated patching, AI-powered vulnerability detection, and securing the very infrastructure the AI revolution is built on. So what are the leaders like CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks doing? CrowdStrike, with its Falcon platform, is basically using AI to drink from a fire hose of trillions of data points in real time. Their whole philosophy is stop the breach as it happens by predicting an attacker's next move. On the other hand, you've got Palo Alto Networks. They're trying to be the all-in-one security blanket, embedding AI across their entire product suite to create this unified, automated defense system. So you have two different approaches, CrowdStrike's real-time detection versus Palo Alto's integrated platform. What was once a race for market share is now a race for survival.
And here is the brutal truth if you're a retail investor trying to get in on this AI boom. If you own a typical AI ETF, there's a really good chance you have almost zero exposure to this critical defensive layer. I mean, go look under the hood of these funds. They are overwhelmingly packed with the big chip makers and the hyperscalers, the classic first-level plays. They are completely missing the second-order consequence, this massive spending boom in AI-powered cybersecurity. So how should we think about this new market dynamic? Well, there's a new playbook emerging, and it's driven entirely by this shift from offense to defense. And understanding this playbook is the absolute key to seeing where the real value is going to go in this next phase of the AI revolution. We can break this whole paradigm shift down into three clear steps. First, we moved from pure speculation to industrialization. That was the huge data center build-out. Second, the focus shifted from the build-out itself to the bottlenecks it created. Power, cooling, all that. But the third and most important step is the one we're in right now. The massive shift from offense to defense, all triggered by that Mythos capability shift. So what does this all mean for you? Let's just break it down. First, AI defense is no longer optional. It is a non-discretionary, board-level priority. Second, this means capital is shifting away from just training bigger and bigger models and towards securing the actual infrastructure. Third, the new picks and shovels aren't just GPUs anymore. They are the AI-powered security platforms from companies like CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks, the ones that can fight fire with fire. And finally, this right here is the true second-order effect of the AI revolution. It's the answer to, and then what? And that leaves us with one final, provocative thought. As this incredibly powerful technology gets deployed everywhere, we've now seen that AI can be both a tool and a weapon. For the last few years, the market has been absolutely obsessed with the companies forging the weapon. But the real enduring opportunity
just might lie with the companies that are now in a desperate race to forge the shield.